Just 1 minute. I screwed up with the mic setting here. So okay, hopefully that worked. Okay. What a mess. All right, everybody. Thank you for your kind patience here. Hello, hello. Happy. Welcome back to Forever Conscious Research Channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Got a interesting one for you tonight. And just as a reminder, this channel is for educational purposes only. We're going to be going over the lifelong experiencer case of Juliena Okah. And her experiences started very young. First at age 6, she's getting... let me just start off by saying how I feel. It's a loaded term, you know, aliens, UFOs, stuff like that. There is this preconceived mainstream narrative that they're aliens from another planet. I do not believe that for a minute. I think what we're dealing with are entities that are within the matrix itself. So when we say alien or alien abduction, things around that nature, UFOs, I'm referring to entities that are within the overall matrix realm, and they're part of the control system. Now, the interesting thing is that abductions cross over with near-death experiences. Talked about this a few times on the channel. There's also a members video on the topic that I think it's over 5.5 hours. But this one is a really unique experience. So Juliena starts getting visits. I think she even mentions as young as 3, but her first real, or at least kind of connecting at 3, something along those lines. And then by the age of 6 is when they start appearing and interacting with her. And it's a really, really interesting case. She ends up having 2 NDEs, her first at the age of 17. Now, she's also she is told that she is to play violin. And you can see the clear life script again in this one. We've been getting a few of these that are really just blatant, and this is another one of them. And so I really hope you enjoy this. One of the big and interesting moments of the NDE, she says, quote, "I realized my life was controlled by them." And then she contradicts herself a few minutes later by saying that she isn't controlled by them. And then goes on to continue to explain how she's being controlled. So it's a really interesting case. And I hope you enjoy it. So let's get into it. And let's see. All right. This should be it. Okay. All right. Just to give you a quick reminder. Sorry, my screen is messing up here. My video screen. Not going to be much longer. Just got a new computer. It's sitting in the back here. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now we're queued up. Just so you know, the video quality isn't so good. I've also put in the subtitles for this. And they're not the best subtitles, so don't rely on them completely. But, you know, there may be moments where you might want to refer to them as well. So, by the way, this is Jeff Mara Podcast. Shout out to Jeff for providing another great interview. So let's get into Juliena's experience.
My guest is Juliena Okah. Juliena is a professional violinist, author, and painter from Japan who has had 2 near-death experiences many OBEs as well as contact with non-human beings since she was a child. Juliena, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you for inviting me. It is my honor to be with you.
Can you start with how you first started getting contacted by these non-human intelligences?
I was 6 years old, and I went outside this happened out near Tokyo and the suburbs. This is the place. So this is me, my sister, younger sister, and this forest. This is the updated picture. This forest was UFO base. So when I came here, and at the time I saw some small discs was floating in the air. Then I tried to catch them, and they moved so fast, and without no time, moved from here to there. And finally, I thought I caught it, and it disappeared from my hand. And I repeated quite a few times because I wanted to catch them to then take to my home. So my parents would tell me what they are. So, but when I was trying to catch me, something like this happened. Small discs is coming down. So then when I was trying to catch them, I was lifted up to the skyward. Then when I woke up, I was in the vehicle. So this is me. And I saw the window. It was a round room and big room. And I was here, and I saw a lot of machines and flashing the light. Then I slept again. Then when I woke up, I tried to go home, but there is no place to get out. So then I saw the beings, about 10 of them were standing. They were tall. And in a distance, I thought they were human. They wore silver metallic outfit, fitted to the body tight, and I did not recognize their hair, so probably it's covered. And I was not afraid because it seemed like I was strange. I could think I was fine, but somehow I did not feel so much fear. Probably I thought they are human. I never thought they are aliens. So then one of them came to me and he said, "We have known you for a long time."
Okay, so right away, we have known you for a long time. Well, why is that? What the research really shows is that, these are beings that, and they very well may have known her, even though she kind of says they're like machines in a little while, but very well may have known them in some form, or at least the AI system knows her, obviously, because it knows each and every one of us based on how it records us every single moment of every single day. But when you take into account the life script, the soul groups, and us being here, and realizing that the matrix goes way beyond Earth, it goes out into the astral, and who knows how many realms there are. I know there are quite a few, more than we can possibly imagine, and I'm sure then some. So the point is to get out of the entire matrix so that we're not involving ourselves with this any further. We don't want to be interacting with matrix entities, because what does that mean? They're lost too, and that doesn't do us any good. We need to liberate ourselves and worry about ourselves and then figure out the rest later on. But sovereignty and liberation is number one, and we don't want to get caught up with these types of entities. So I think there's something to this here. But whether it's an actual entity, I don't think so. I think it's more like an AI-based entity.
We have known you for a long time. We came from far away to Earth to help you and guide you.
To help and guide you. Classic, right?
Help you and guide you. At that moment, I thought my mother arranged this because my mother was a Christian and she has been praying for God for my healings because I was born with a lot of medical problems. I needed to have a heart surgery, and those days medical technology was not too good. So we are very much afraid. So that's why mother was praying for God. So because I thought they came from far away to Earth to help me, probably I thought God heard my mother's prayer and sent these beings for me. So that was my first intuition. So then,
let me stop you there for a moment.
Yes.
One thing real quick. What is the name of the forest that they had the UFO base in near Tokyo?
No, I have no idea because when I was 6 years old, I did not know any area. I did not even see any foreigner. I did not ask, but they said they have known me for a long time. So that means then I felt I knew them for a long time too. That's the strange things.
Right.
Then at that moment, something happened because I remembered my non-human life. Once I lived out of, not on Earth, some other place, and I knew they came to pick me up. So that is somewhere, I don't know where, I did not even ask, but when I communicate.
Okay, before she continues, I just want to make a point. Like when she's saying, not from Earth, she came from somewhere else. Yeah, there's like the time before you incarnated or came into this overall matrix system, not just Earth, but the overall system. And then there is, your time, quote unquote, before that. So what, in my strong opinion, she's referring to is that she's referring to the matrix. It doesn't necessarily have to be Earth. And of course, there are memory wipes. So she's not going to necessarily know how many lifetimes she's had here, just like all of us. We're all left in the dark here. And, it's a cat and mouse game here. It's just, she's unfortunately being played. And no offense, Juliena, if you're listening, and to anyone else, any other experiencer.
When I communicated, something happened, and I think while I was sleeping in their vehicle, I think they stimulated my brain. That's my guess.
So she's saying when she's in the UFO, they stimulated her brain, and other abduction cases can kind of point to this, where there's like these medical experiments or whatever the case may be, where or they're, quote unquote, trying to, how do I put this, get hybrids out of the human experiencers. Now, I'm of the belief that nobody physically goes anywhere, but their reality shifts around them, whether they're in their room or driving down the street. Everything comes to a stop, and they end up they have this technology where they're able to manipulate the reality around them and make the person think that they are actually having this experience, and it's very, very real to them. Don't get me wrong. There's far too many cases for it not to be. And they line up with NDEs a lot with the white light, and then there's love sometimes, and sometimes there's a tunnel. I mean, there's all different types of scenarios with abduction, but the thing is that there are bullet points that align with NDEs like a glove. And so you got to ask yourself, what is the mechanism running these things?
That's my guess. Because after that, all of a sudden, I did not feel I was a little girl. I was only 6, but I did not feel when I woke up this time, I did not feel I was a girl. I felt I was very old because the memories that contained to my brain was huge. I did not have a 6-year-old girl. I did not have too many experiences, but I had another experience in my brain.
Okay, now what if this is her past life? Seriously, she's talking about, oh, she was very old and this and that. Perhaps this is a past life we're kind of peeking into. Unfortunately, we don't get too much in terms of detail, but interesting, nonetheless.
Experiences, but I had another experience in my brain. So that means I was very old. I know so many things. And then I know I was living not as a human. And from there, they came to let me know they are thinking of me, and they are going to take me back to their place.
When you saw the aliens, and you said they were human-like, did they look Asian or did they look Caucasian?
No, I thought more Caucasian because they are like most 6-7 feet tall. And I felt now right away I knew they are not Japanese because the shoulder is very wide and very slender, slim, but I felt they are robot. Sort of maybe half robot, hybrid, something like this. So that's the kind of, because when they talk, not like a human talk. So their looks felt, they are, right away I thought maybe they are robot. But they communicated and they talked to me in Japanese.
So she thought maybe they were like robots. Now, if you look at some of the abduction accounts, other alien abduction accounts, they talk about how certain alien types, I guess you can say, they act like robots. They are devoid of feelings and it's all business. And then you have others who can give you the love bomb, or they can put extreme terror in you, like the Greys versus the insectoids, insecticides. That's what we want to use on them, right? And then, you got like the tall whites and all these things that kind of are continually pop up.
Communicated and they talked to me in Japanese.
So you woke up, you now had the mind of somebody who is old and have lived life before. Did they immediately take you to another planet, or did they take you back home?
After that, I was back to the field I was before, and I was standing. Then I was looking at what's going on, because if I slept or I lost my consciousness, I was on the ground. But I know clearly I was standing and looking around. What happened? Where are those people? And I was thinking. And they brought me back. The place I was, the same place I was. In this place, I found myself again. But maybe probably 3-4 hours, I was gone with them. And then I asked my mother if she talked about me to them. So that's the way everything started. And I mentioned I met non-human beings, and they have known me for a long time. And they came to help me, to guide me. So, but my parents, this is not my first time I talked about something like this. Since I was like 2-3 years old, I always felt I was in another place and somewhere that is my home. So I need to go back. I don't know. Somehow I always felt that way. So I was telling my parents, I don't know why am I living in Japan, because I must go back to my place. So I was very, in a way, not too happy living, because in my brain, somehow I knew amazing place I lived once.
Now, see, like that's common too, right? I mean, think about all the NDEers out there who go and have these experiences. Like they can come back depressed, upset, or they'll speak of how great it was where they were. They felt like they were home. They didn't want to leave, on and on and on. And this is a very, very similar attribute that we're seeing with Juliena here.
Not because I was a lot of physical problem I had. I could not walk much, all kind of problem I had. And the physical problem gave me a lot of happiness, because once I knew I did not have those problems, those kind of life I had in somewhere in my brain. Then when I encountered with them, all of a sudden I remembered I lived as non-human someplace, and they are the one came to let me know I am not just only human, because then few years later they took me to another world, and this is what happened. That was golden shining world.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it briefly while the picture's on the screen for you to check out. We're also going to be going over her website at the end of the stream to see some of her other pictures, but just wanted to make sure you're able to see that.
And I was here, and there I saw the vehicle hovering. Then I realized they took me to this world. And because I saw the row of the windows from inside, and now I saw a lot of windows in here. So I identified they are the one took me to this world. And this was the purpose of alien encounter, because there I saw angelic beings like this. And I wanted to paint, and because there's no way I don't want to forget, and I saw amazing sceneries and something like this, and something like this, and I did not want to forget. So that was that seed to become a painter.
Okay, like I said, don't worry about the paintings. We're going to make sure to go over all of those at the end of the stream, because you only get bits and pieces of some of them.
That seed to become a painter. And so, and there I saw the angelic being played violin for me. And he said, you will be a violinist and travel all over the world. You must practice violin.
See, you must practice violin. You're going to travel all over the world. And that's exactly what happened. Wait till we go over her resume. I mean, what she's done. She's going to actually talk about a lot of it. This was a setup from day one. They talked to her about doing, playing the violin and practicing, and it's setting her up for her later life, obviously, and her career. So this is life script on full display, my friends.
Must practice violin.
You must practice violin.
That's the reason. Because I did not like violin practice at all. But I wanted to travel all over the world. That got me to practice violin. And eventually, I became a headliner on cruise ships. So then I created this kind of show, and then it became, this is the Royal Caribbean. And I worked for 24 years, but this is the princess. I did 500 cruises.
Wow.
If I did not meet angelic violinist, I would never become a headliner or a violinist. I would never become a painter. Painting is my passion. That came everything from alien encounter. Now I know they are guiding me.
See, now I know that they are guiding me. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for the encounter. She's admitting it point blank to all of us.
Encounter. Now I know they are guiding me.
Are you still being contacted by the aliens?
Yes, I am still. So now I would like to show you when I had a face-to-face alien encounter was only in Japan. But after I left Japan, I started to have a lot of sightings. This is my first sighting in Las Vegas.
Okay, I'll leave that up on the screen for a little while. When I was hearing her talk about this, I felt orbs, but UFOs as well, I guess. This
was my first night in America.
First night.
I arrived the first day in Las Vegas. I came from Australia because I did my show in Australia. So then from Australia to flew to Hawaii and Las Vegas. It's because of the time difference. I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning, and I went outside and lay down in a poolside because it was May. It was very warm. So I lay down. Then I was thinking about my life in America because I had a 6-month visa. And then soon I started to see a lot of white, very strong white light.
I began to see lots of bright white light. Very classic, just like NDEs, right?
And then soon I started to see a lot of white, very strong white light moving ahead of my far away and close over. So then I was wondering. I stood up and looked at the lights, and the light goes back and forth few times, and it disappeared. 1 second, completely disappeared.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that in the last part. That this is more something like orbs. I've experienced this exact phenomenon in the sky with orbs, where they push out and then pull back in. It's wild to see.
Then I thought maybe this lights belong to Las Vegas. So then I asked my friend what those lights are, and they don't know what I was talking about. And after that, I lived in Las Vegas for 3 years, and I worked in nighttime because I played in MGM orchestra. So all the nighttime and at 3 o'clock in the morning, many times I was up, but I never seen since then. This is my first night. Next is this one. This is Hawaii, Waikiki. I was in my friend apartment, that's a Hilton Lagoon apartment, next to the Hilton Hotel on Waikiki Beach. And that was the 23rd floor in front of the Waikiki Beach. I was talking with my friend, and at 2 o'clock, she went to bed. And I was still sitting in a balcony and looking at the sky, and I saw the full moon. I was looking at the full moon. Then next second, I saw this. I couldn't believe what I saw, and I thought maybe my eyes, sometimes I scratched my eyes. I did all kinds of things, but still there. Then next moment, I was leaning to the balcony, and I said, "Take me."
Oh, don't say that.
With you. That without my conscience, I always do it. And at that time, I hear the words, is always not yet. That's always the words I have been hearing all the time. But
those are the words I've been hearing all the time. Not yet. So throughout her life, she keeps getting this message. Not yet. Just like in years. You got to go back. You've got a mission to fulfill. Get back down to earth, or stay on earth in her case, and do your life script as planned. And eventually we'll allow you into the gates of heaven.
that's always the words I have been hearing all the time. But then I was very angry because they did not take me. So I thought, at least I need a witness for this amazing sight. So I called her, and she came, and I said, "Look at this." Then I looked at her. Then when I looked at the sky, was gone. But all the lights were still there. And she said, "Oh my God, what is this?" Then we just looked at about 5 minutes. Then gradually, light fade out. If this one gone, the vehicle is gone, should be no more lights. Then I thought, aliens has maybe different lights than us. So after seeing this, she has no doubt, because there is no such a light, the bright light in the sky, big, because I saw nearly 100 windows in there. So, but this is the light, this is the vehicle I saw in another world, this one, the same vehicle I saw. So this is the vehicle they took me. So after many years, they came to see me with their vehicle. So I was so, I was disappointed because they did not take me, but I was so grateful. They still remembered me and they came to me. So the next one is, so this is sort of, the same thing. Okay, next one happened, this is Canada, 1982, Canada, Vancouver. The science teacher was with me. And that was, on the beach, was a deep snow that night. So we have been working in Hungary, and I played in music, and he was a pianist. And his daytime, he is a math and a science teacher. And all of a sudden, we saw a huge light above around us. Then we looked at, and the big, very bright lights are there. We both, about 10 seconds, silence. We looked at, then finally, he said UFO. At the moment, the vehicle flew to the far away in horizon up above, far away. If a plane flies from here to here, it takes more than 10 minutes. But this one flew in here in 1 second. And over there, we saw like a cigar type of big white light, quite long, like this long. And this one crashed. We did
This part's really interesting. Pay attention to this part.
wrong, and this one crashed. We did not hear any, because maybe too far away, we did not hear any sound, but the huge sparkle went all over the sky. So we thought we may see the debris coming down to the ocean, but we did not see anything. And it joined together and it became a much bigger vehicle.
Now that is something I've seen other just standard UFO sightings mention, where something kind of explodes. I mean, she says it crashed or something explodes and then it drops down. Usually it's over something like a body of water, and then it, joins with other things and creates like this more like massive, bigger type of UFO, so to say. So it's interesting to hear her say that here.
And stayed about 10 seconds. So then flew to the other side in 1 second. All together from here 10 seconds, or about 20 seconds. We both saw it. Then after this, I had before this, I had so strange experiences. This is something beyond science. This was the most incredible experience to come to the aliens I ever had. I don't know, I should talk this one or not, but maybe I just leave it alone. And after this, about 10 days, we experienced together. Then that night, we saw this. So anyway, so this was just for now. I don't want to go now because this is a very heavy stuff. So now after that, after I went to Canada, I went back to Las Vegas. There I worked with the MGM Orchestra. And so that's the time, I started to become a headliner. But that time I lost all my property because I signed was a power of attorney. So I was invested all my money to the real estate. I lost everything. Mm-hmm. So because I signed something, I did not understand English. I thought I signed to my property. So that was the person, real estate broker, he got sick and he took everything. So I was very, very upset because, and now MGM Orchestra had a strike. So now I lost all my work, all my job.
So think about it. She ends up going back to Vegas and gets scammed and loses basically her life savings and starts from scratch all over again. Yeah. Thank you, Matrix. Yeah. Great. They're really looking out for her.
Had a strike.
And yeah, I mean, well, the NDEs are coming. It just, she goes over this first. So, but it is more about her contact experiences. But there are a couple NDEs in there that she talks about, and out of body experiences.
And now MGM Orchestra had a strike. So now I lost all my work, all my job, all my work, and all my money. So I was very upset that day. So this is the day my friend invited me to go to Mount Charleston, maybe 20 miles from Las Vegas. It was a very, very hot day. So we wanted to go someplace cool. So then I was so upset. I was looking at the down. Then all of a sudden, I felt very strange. Then I looked up, then right in front of us, the vehicle, I saw the bottom of the vehicle. And I tried to tell him, but I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. But he tried to comfort me, and he was driving, even looking at the front, so he did not notice. And he was not affected, and his body was fine. I couldn't talk, I couldn't move. So, but then because he...
So she couldn't move, she was the one affected, but the driver was not. So this is typical paralysis. We can call it sleep paralysis, but this is something that does happen to those that go through quote unquote abductions.
I couldn't talk, I couldn't move. So, but then because he asked me question, but I did not answer. So he looked at me and he looked at what I was looking at. Then he saw this. Then he said UFO. Then that very second, this one went to in front, ahead of us in 1 second, so fast, then stopped. Then we could see the top of the vehicle. Then slowly went down. I thought it's a forest. Then in here, it stopped about 10 seconds. So we saw the side view, and with windows, we both saw the same thing. Then slowly went down. Then we went to there, but this was not a forest. This was wasteland for the government. And we moved around, drove around, but everything fenced, and we could not get in. But the aliens vehicle are there. So this is another one there. Right after this, I went to Miami. Then I became a headliner on cruise ships. Okay, so then this one is 1980. Okay, before I go here, do you have a question?
I want to ask you about your near-death experiencers,
Jeff. Yeah.
but maybe we should finish up with your UFOs first.
Okay. So this one is I did my show in Germany, Hamburg, and my mother came to see my show. And after that, for 3 weeks, we did a vacation without any plan. And the last 3 days, because it was getting cold, so we came to Italy and we went to Nice, South France. It was very warm. And last 3 days, we stayed over there. We went to Monaco and then Monaco and then Cannes. And last night, I knew they are coming to see me. So I told my mother to not close the window. 3 o'clock in the morning, they came.
Okay, so I think it's interesting. She mentions 3 o'clock in the morning a few times. This is one of them. And she specifically told her mother, don't shut the window or the shades. And then, the experience happens.
To not close.
Almost like she was expecting it.
So I told my mother to not close the window. 3 o'clock in the morning, they came. And the room was so bright. My mother, just the hotel room, my mother could not take, and she covered her head with a blanket. But for me, the light did not blind me. So I communicated. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and that clock was right in here. So then 15 minutes, I communicated with them. And then 15 minutes later, she could not take the light. She woke up and she tried to close the window because she could not sleep. And I was screaming, do not close. But I did not have any voice. My mother, my body was stuck to the bed. She closed. After she closed, blind and everything should be dark, but the light was still there. About 5 minutes, gradually getting dark. It should be, right away. But now I realized they have the different light from us. So then next day, I was going back to New York City, the place I lived, because 3 days later, I had to go to Caribbean cruise. It was this was the end of October. So Caribbean cruise, but they told me to live in Nice. So next day, I changed my schedule, and 3 days I stayed in Nice instead of New York. So then Lou started to look for the apartment to try to get some kind of idea what the apartment. And but first, real estate agent, he told me to not rent the apartment, but to buy small condominium. And he took me in front of the beach, center Nice, the best location. And the condominium he showed me was incredible. So beautiful place. But I just only vacation. I have no idea. I not even thought to live in here. But I bought that condominium against all odds. I did not even have money. I did not have even document to buy. But once they intervene, everything become possible.
And once they intervene, everything becomes possible. And that's what they've been doing her whole life, right? I mean, it's very clear they've been intervening just like they intervene with NDEers and other experiencers. And so we're seeing part of the pattern, right? Regardless of, the whole alien abduction area is a tough one, right? I mean, you've got to sift through a lot of questionable, if not downright BS experiencer cases to really get to the ones that seem the most legitimate. And but the key thing to remember are the patterns, right? And that is where the two topics, especially with NDEs and alien abduction or alien experiences, intersect, and we get some of the same qualities. And so that's what we really look for in these types of things. And this is the type of area that I'd suggest. It's good to go down, but you can get lost very easily. But I think it's important. There are some really amazing cases out there that are mind blowing, and they're you just kind of have to take each one with a grain of salt. And remember, it's all about the big picture. Like if one experience that you're here watching today doesn't jive, don't worry about it. Skip to the next one, because everything is about going from case to case to case to case, and then developing the big picture so that you can see it and have that firm inner knowing within to protect yourself and kind of get, I really think it's important that we have that firm inner knowing so that we are in control every step of the way. I think if there is doubt, if you don't believe in yourself, your creator being abilities, your that you can deny to consent, you can apply your intention in a certain way to get you out of this situation at the time of natural death, take advantage of it, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. So I just want to give Lawrence Forbes a big thank you for your very kind and generous super chat. Lawrence says, Mark, this case reminds me of some of the ones that Mary Rodwell has covered. Have you seen any of those? Yeah, she's the Australian, I think she's like a hypnotherapist. She does regressions and interviews abductees. Yeah, I'm familiar with some of her stuff. And then AA, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, great video. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You're both so kind. Thank you.
This is one of them. And the condominium I bought was my first condominium in my life. And that I kept for 23 years. And I was living in New York.
I'm sorry, I gotta just mention this comment because I think it's spot on. Sydney says they paid her with the condominium. Yeah, after they had just stolen everything from her in Las Vegas, of all places. Yeah, but it's true. It's true. They paid her off in exchange for going along with the ride, going along with the show, playing out her life script like intended.
First condominium in my life, and that I kept for 23 years. And I was living in New York City, so I was back and forth between Europe and America twice a year because cruise ship work. And so there I became a painter. See, this is not my plan because now I realized my life was controlled by them. That's why I have so much miraculous thing, because I was just only a violin player and nothing good things. I was just, just a simple violin player. I never thought I would become a headliner, but I think that's their plan. So this is one thing. And then.
Okay. Before she continues, I think it's really important to point out too that she's talking about how, she was basically told, hey, play violin, go practice violin, even though she didn't want to. But what did she say also? She said, my heart, my passion is painting. That is her passion. So if you think about it, the Matrix has her set up in the perfect scenario where it's like, okay, we want you to play music, but your plan B is also your plan B is if you want to also be an artist, even though that's really what her passion is. It's the two intersect so perfectly with pop culture, right? I mean, and spreading the word about what this place is all about. It's a good thing. It's for your growth. You're here to learn. And, even though you get memory wiped every lifetime and don't know where you came from, why you're here, where you're going, it's, still a good thing. So I'm convinced that there are multiple life scripts available to each person based on their free will decision making as they go along within the Matrix, that specific Matrix life script that they had for the current incarnation. And so, painting and music are two of the biggest things we see as propaganda pieces, which come from the Matrix marketing department.
I think that's their plan. So this is one thing. And then you see the in front of Nice, my condominium, 1992.
Okay, I'm just going to hold that up for a minute for the picture.
So then small vehicle came down. I tried to catch them. They disappeared right in front of my eye, front of my hands. And exactly same thing happened when I was a child. So that's confirmed me. And they came to see me to let me know they are not controlling, but they are guiding me.
When you had the conversation with them in the middle of the night and you had the bright light coming through your window and it was for about 15 minutes, do you remember any of that conversation that you had?
Yes, because they told me I must finish my mission because they told me in another world, in a golden world I visited by them, and they told me someday I must tell everything what happened outside of the earth, because I had so many near-death experiences, and And I went to many different worlds. That's why my
So you see how what there's you've got to tell us when you get back here, but you have your mission to complete first. So see, it's all the same stuff, just being pulled along until you finally wake up and start questioning the entire thing, not just the earth level, but the whole big picture, going beyond governments, beyond all of the deceptive systems that are out there, and thinking even bigger outside of here. Okay, so by them kind of keeping us cut off from exterior information, like things about the astral realms and about the light and the tunnel and the fake void realm that they have, all of these things in combination with Earth, it's a very, very difficult thing to deconstruct. We live in a time where we're fortunate enough to have access to tons of information so we can see it a little bit easier. But even then, it's difficult. So, my heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to everyone who has to endure this and not ask the big questions about what's going on here. And what do we see? We see yet again, oh, you have a mission, you have work to do, oh, the same old song and dance every single time.
And I went to many different worlds. That's why my book is called My Journeys Through the Heavens and Hells of Extraterrestrial Worlds. So this is my mission. They told me to tell what happened, what kind of beings are living in a various world in some way in the universe.
So see, she was told that she has to tell her story, that she has to tell about her experiences. This is part of her life script, and it's all been just compounding on one another over and over and over again from childhood to today. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's the Matrix marketing department saying, hey, Juliena, get all this information out there at the behest of us so that we can keep the scam going.
So they told me I have a mission because I was sort of caught up because I was living in New York City for 24 years and I was a headliner, so it was a very heavy competition I went through. So I had a tendency to forget my mission, which I heard when I was a child. So, but they keep reminding me. So then do not delay my life.
Remember what she just said? She said she heard the mission as a child. She knew. I mean, remember they said pick up the violin and take violin practice, even though you don't want to. She knew from a young age about her mission.
Delayed my life, and so that's also the Peru. And a small light I saw in a Machu Picchu, this place. And those lights came to me and hit my body. Another person saw it, and he was wondering what happened. But this is the beginning to become. Right after this, I went to Nice. There I became a painter. And in Peru, the first night I had the alien's vehicle was right in front of my window because the hotel owner saw it. And they came to woke me up because the alien's vehicle in front of my room. So that's the first night in Peru. And Nazca, I had another sighting. And in Peru, I had many experiences. Okay, so then this one.
Okay, so as you can see, she moves along really fast. And I know Jeff only kind of allows people about an hour to speak, and then kind of has to let things go. And I don't know if that's why she's moving so quick, but I mean, you've got to, I mean, for me, when I'm going through this experience, I'm asking myself, you got to look at it from both directions, right? Or both ends. She kind of uses spiritual buzzwords, right? The Nazca lines, Peru, Machu Picchu, all this stuff is, but when we go to her website, you're going to see, she's been all over the place. She was, I guess you can say fortunate enough, courtesy of the Matrix and her life script, to be able to travel the world and go to different places. And she obviously is a spiritually inclined person. And I don't want to take that away from her, but I also just want to say that, as with any experience that we talk about on this channel, discernment is key. Remember, go from one experience to the next. If something doesn't connect or it doesn't feel right, just move along to the next one. But it's sometimes it just feels like a lot. That's all. But I'm not, casting any shade. I'm just saying how I feel. I'm not really sure what to make of the whole case, but something in my gut tells me that a lot of it is a legitimate story. It's even though it seems like a lot, it's not really over sensationalized either, right? It's kind of like, Shay, this is my experience. She did a lot of paintings. She's incredible at the violin, and so it feels right. It feels right, but then there's always that lingering little smidgen of doubt. That's all. Or maybe a little bit more than a smidgen, but.
One is 2007, Redondo Beach. This is in Los Angeles. At that time, I was going back to live in France, and because I wanted to do more painting work. But they told me to live in this area and write my book. So I became an American citizen many years ago, but I could become a French citizen, and I prepared to become a French citizen, but they stopped me, and they said I must write book. Then soon I was invited to do my musical show with Hollywood movie people, and there HBO interested my life. Not alien, because I did my cabaret show. I did not tell anything of that. I just did my cabaret show. But they interested Asian woman, single woman, travel all over the world, and they became a headliner by Liberace. So that kind of a movie they wanted to make. So they told me to write my story. So that got me to write. Otherwise, I would never even attempted to write my book in English.
Now, I mean, think about that. I mean, this seems like a Matrix marketing department, grand slam out of the park, bottom of the ninth, game-winning home grand slam. I mean, it really does. I mean, it got to the point where, HBO was even showing interest in her case. And she's like, I'm not going to write a book. I don't want to write a book. But now, hey, HBO's may be interested in reporting my life and maybe doing a movie or a documentary, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, what the heck? I'll write a book. I mean, it seems like, again, like it just keeps falling in line with kind of what you would expect this place to do, because it happens with other people.
But because HBO mentioned they want to make my movie. So that excited me. So that then soon I thought, because my mission is not to tell about my life on Earth. My mission is to tell outside of the Earth. So I changed my subject. Then I wrote my story, this one. But if they did not encourage me to write, I could never start it.
Now see how this is something that makes her feel special. And this is kind of similar with a lot of the New Age area, the Dolores Cannon area, where, and with a lot of the NDEs that we see where you have a mission, you have purpose, but with her, she's special. But it's no different than all the others because they all feel special too, because they had an experience of, I have a mission, I have purpose. In this case, she thinks it's something outside of here, when in fact, all she's dealing with is the overall matrix system. And it's just playing her. That's the sad truth of what's going on here.
I changed my subject. Then I wrote my story, this one. But if they did not encourage me to write, I could never start it. So there is a reason, because if I went to France, I could not get that kind of situation because I lived in Los Angeles, because then I connected with the movie people. So that in Hollywood, that's the reason this opportunity happened. So that everything is their plan. I was moved. So I was in their control.
It sounds like they've been guiding you your whole life.
I thought I was doing what I like to, but it was their plan. So
it sounds like their mission for you is to write a book about your experience on other worlds. Is that correct?
Yes. So my book is telling, I had so many near-death experiences and I went through heaven.
Okay, and just to clarify, when she says I had so many near-death experiences, we hear of, I believe, 2. But there are people who confuse out-of-body experiences with near-death experiences, not in the traumatic way, but because they can have similar attributes. Sometimes we hear that. It's not all that common, but it does happen here and there. And let's not fool ourselves here. The whole purpose of her writing this book is about earthly stuff, right? I mean, I haven't read the book, I'm going to be honest. But you can tell by the way this whole conversation has gone that it really is about inserting the quote unquote alien, UFO, extraterrestrial narrative onto Earth, and she was kind of teed up, and hello T, teed up to share this information with Earth, not outside of here, with Earth. That is the purpose of her life script. And she's just been kind of thrown into the den of wolves and has a blindfold on.
Yes. So my book is telling, I had so many near-death experiences and I went through heavens and hells because I have committed suicide at the age of 17 because no one understood me. And I was very depressed because I also saw the hells and what kind of situation going on in a fiery hell. So I went to...
Okay, she's saying fiery hell, not health. Again, don't rely solely on the captions or the subtitles. They're not entirely correct.
Kind of situation going on in a fiery hell. So I went crazy because I was only 17 years old. And why I must have such a thing, because that's an out of body experience, sort of. And I saw that all kind of people living in there. I could not be any more normal student. So I did not go to school for 1 year. And I did not even open the textbook. And finally, I thought, because my parents is a very educational parents, and I felt, and I became shame for them, because everybody knew I'm not attending the school, and I did stop practicing the violin, and my mother lost the hope, and I was just like more, failure. So I felt my guilt was so strong. I thought maybe I should better not live.
So before we continue, and we're going to just rewind it a little bit, but, she's talking about, her violin wasn't good enough, and she wished, basically that she could do better. She had a lot of guilt and shame. And so that's like typical everyday, every incarnation type of feeling when you're here. It's just very common. And if I had to put myself in her shoes, it's like you almost feel like you're letting these beings down, or you're letting your family down, you're letting yourself down. So this is like, we're going to kind of funnel you into this part of your life script next. Well, here's the door. Walk on through it.
Felt my guilt was so strong. I thought maybe I should better not live. So then, because my mother took to the medical, the psychiatrist, and so I got a lot of tranquilizer. So I collected, and one day I took 40 of them. That one is enough for 1 day. Even though 10 tablets, I could have died, I took 40 of them. And I went to the process. I went to gray space. Then that's a transition time, I think. I was floating in the gray space and moving very, very, very slowly. And I felt like so many hours. I was very irritating because I couldn't do anything. I wanted to walk, but I couldn't walk. I was just floating. I wanted to talk, but there is no one to talk. Then finally,
okay, so before she goes to the next installment, she has this kind of half in, half out thing going on. Like, there aren't many people that I run across who have NDEs where they're, frantically searching, I should say, for their, for their legs to be walking, or thinking about hearing. But it's clear that she is in some sort of resemblance of a void-like state, or void-like realm that the Matrix has created. And of course, now she's going to talk about going to the tunnel.
Talk, but there is no one to talk. Then finally, I went to the tunnel. And very strongly, I was sucked into the tunnel. Then I lost my consciousness. When I woke up, I was in another world. It was a terrible place, very cold, and like a desert. There's no alive beings there, no nothing, no vegetation, nothing. So then I experienced the hell of a situation in there. Then I truly regretted, because I was not sure committing suicide was a sin, because my grandmother committed suicide because he worked for emperor.
Okay, so I found this part interesting, right? Now, this is strictly opinion, okay? So Don't read into it too hard. But I found it interesting how she talks about how her mother worked for the emperor and, committed S. All right. So, and here the daughter is kind of, it's not like this, it's not like she's world renowned, right? But the point is she's impacting and affecting many people's lives. Think about it. She's on a cruise ship for a couple decades, performing. People enjoy her music. She's an artist. She is, a great musician and able to. HBO's even interested at some point. Like, to me, again, just opinion, but it feels possibly like a little bit of bloodline thing going on here. But it's not like the top tier elitist or wannabe elitist bloodline, but or soul group, I should say. But it's kind of like an offshoot of that. Again, just an opinion. I'm not saying that is exactly what's going on, but make of it what you will. I just found it really interesting. She mentions that her mother worked for the emperor and ended up,
Because my grandmother committed suicide because he worked for emperor. So when we lost the war, it was honorable things to not commit suicide. So many Japanese people committed suicide by that time. So I did not have any guilt. But the war situation and my situation were quite different. So I felt because my weakness, I made an irreversible mistake. And I prayed for God to save me. When nothing happened, I went through all kind of fear and just incredible situation I went through. Then I thought, because alien came from far away to visit me to Earth, probably they may, because they saw they have been watching me, they are always saying they are watching me. So if they really watching me, they knew where I am now. So I called them. But nothing happened. I lost all my energy that I could not cry anymore. I thought maybe I'll just lay down and I will just wait the next life to come, because I felt no death, because I wanted to really die that time, but I already died. How can I kill the death, right? So I could not, on Earth, we had a chance to die, but in there is nothing but to live. I lived in hell. So that was the most scary thing I ever experienced. Then I was just lay down on the ground. It was cold, and the sound was blowing to me. And all of a sudden, I heard the voice. And some transcendent. That's the word I heard.
Transform, transcendent. Basically, the voice is saying, get in line, step up, do as you're told. I mean, that's how I interpret it. Make of it what you will, but it's just kind of like a lot of what's happened, right? I mean, she has been coached and kind of prodded along the way to fall in line the way the Matrix wants her to. And they have just been, they got the puppet strings going every step of the way.
And I looked at, and there is a big light, and a saint was standing there. And he was lecturing, not looking at me, but he was looking at somewhere, and he was lecturing. I was listening with all my heart. It seemed like it was about 1 hour. Then I started to question after that. And he answered everything which I need to know. I questioned to all the people because while I did not go to school, my mother brought pastor, principal, teacher, all kind of people. But no one could answer because they don't know outside of Earth.
See, I mean, that's got to be difficult, right? I mean, it can't be easy to be in that situation, especially from such a young age. I mean, and this is where the early childhood development phase plays a key role in each and every one of our lives. And, you know, we are essentially from birth to age 7 in a different brainwave state. And once 6, 7 hits, we kind of switch off into a new one. And and that's kind of where we're at the rest of our lives. All right. And, you know, that can change slightly, but we are sponges for information. Now, mind you, if you have outside influences that are not your family, and they're kind of, you know, in this case, something comparable to quote unquote aliens, or we'll just call them matrix reinforcement entities, or AI, then, you know, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to shake that loose. And especially when you're having formative experiences from such a young age, it makes you susceptible to do the Matrix's bidding. And this is where we got to kind of divide the line, right? We got to say, no, enough is enough. I'm going my own way, doing my own thing, and nothing is going to stand in my way. Period. The end. I'm firm in my resolve, and that's the bottom line. You know, you got to stand up for yourself, and, you know, don't doubt your power. Don't doubt yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. So what are your attachments? What are the issues that you think maybe you need to work on while you're still here, so that you're not all cramming it in, you know, towards the end of your life? You want to work on these things now, gradually, and do what you need to do for yourself. I'm not saying cut off your friends, cut off your family. I'm saying, you know, be firm in your resolve about that. You call the shots. There is nothing like the biggest, one of the biggest questions I get. Well, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? Well, you know what? Throw the what if away. Remember, stand firm in your resolve, stand firm in your power, and know that you are the one calling the shots all the way, and that you're going to go and do your own thing at the time of natural death. And that's all there is to it. You're going to liberate yourself. There is no debating it. There's no, you know, there's no, you know, gambling or playing with these things. All you're going to do is open the door. And I think really from everything that I've seen, and I think everything that many of you out there have seen, once you give this system even the slightest hope that it can retain you, it's not good. It's not good. I'm not going to say you're screwed, but it's not good. And that's why, you know, learning this material, going through it all, and seeing how, you know, when a person, or when a true essence being wants to assert their power, that they can. And then when someone gives up that power, you see the result of it. That speaks volumes. It speaks volumes in a huge way, and everyone should take complete solace in that. This information should self-empower you. It shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't have questions out there like, oh, well, what if this? What if that? I have no control. I can't do this. No. Well, if you want to sit in a situation where you feel like you're defeated and that this place is going to win every time, no matter what you do, then you're bowing down to the system. I mean, this is kind of like a form of tough love that I'm putting out there. You know, I appreciate each and every one of you, but I know there are some of you that doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You're so much better than that. You deserve better than this. But don't think for a minute that this place has any control over you. Okay. So, I've been going quite a while. I do have to take a break. I'm going about an hour and a half now. And we still have quite a bit more to go. And then I'm also going to show you her website and her paintings and some of the things she's done in her career. So hang in there with me for a little bit. I'm going to just take a 5-minute break, and I look forward to seeing y'all shortly. Hang in there with me. And if you don't mind hitting the like button, if you found this information helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll see y'all again in about 5 minutes. Thank you so much. everybody. Thank you so much for hanging in there. And welcome back. Okay, so just again as a reminder, this channel is for educational purposes only. And I'd like to, before we move along, just, oh, hold on, my camera's not active, but before we move along here, I just wanted to remind you that starting next month, December of 2022, I will be doing Odyssey exclusives, and there will also be some Rumble exclusives, but I'll be concentrating a lot more on Odyssey. At least once a month, there will be a dedicated stream there, and it will not be available on YouTube. I've been getting hit non-stop with copyright issues on YouTube. Old videos that were fine for the last couple years, even longer, and it just made me realize even more that, you know, I can't rely solely on YouTube to spread this message, and I am going to be working on more on Odyssey. So if you'd like to join me there, please consider joining Odyssey yourself. If you're new, I do have a referral link. It does kind of help get the channel a little more, I guess, pushed, or, you know, just helps get the channel out there a little bit more on Odyssey. If you use the referral link, if you're new, it doesn't cost anything. The platform's completely free. And I also am offering memberships over there, which leads me into the next thing is here for YouTube members, levels 2 and higher, starting tomorrow. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow. Not starting tomorrow. We've been doing it over a year. We'll be having the monthly member live stream, and that'll be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you'd like to join, feel free to check out the join link here on YouTube, and then it's also available on Odyssey. Just as give people on Odyssey a heads up, I have not finished uploading all of the members' videos from YouTube. So if you do sign up on Odyssey, there's, I think, 3 right now, but there's much more to come. Over the next few weeks, I'll be uploading the rest of them, and there is a backlog of over a year's worth of members' videos, and level 2 includes access to the archive of members' live streams. It also includes access to the members' Discord's research and chat server, where sometimes we also have voice calls, and it's a resource hub as well for research purposes. And yeah, so feel free to join us. And then obviously, like I mentioned, there is at least one guaranteed monthly member live stream each month. And your support is always appreciated, but never expected. I also have a Stripe account and Stream Elements if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And Odyssey also offers anonymous tipping in the form of through credit card and their cryptocurrency, which is LBC. The whole platform is really based on LBC, which is a cryptocurrency on that platform. So, and like I said, I have Rumble too, and Twitch, where I do Truth in Gaming. So if you're interested in checking that out, feel free. There's a D Live, Instagram, Twitter. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that, and we'll move along with our Expereincer, Juliena. And thank you for hearing me out here. Okay, so, oh, there we go. There she is. And like I said, we're also going to go over her website at the end of the stream. And I'm also, one last thing, I'm going to try a new feature that YouTube put up, and it's an area where once I activate it, you can kind of submit questions. So if you have any questions on tonight's stream or something else, I'll try to get to as many as I can. Jimmy's already sent me a few I usually can't get to everyone, but if you do have any questions, we're going to try this new feature tonight and see how it works. And so, yeah, let's get rolling. I'm going to pop that up right now while we're starting the beginning of this.
My mother brought pastor, principal, teacher, all kind of people. But no one could answer because they don't know outside of Earth. My question is, out of Earth, like hell, what happened to hell? How are we going to deal with it? All those kind of things no one could tell. So, but this guy, the saint, answered everything which I needed. And he said, go back.
Okay, so did you hear what she said? She said, he answered every question that I had, and then she had him answered, and then he's like, oh, go back. I mean, this lines up with NDEs like a glove. Oh, people will say, oh, well, I had the answer to every question. I mean, I just asked, you know, a lot of NDEers will say, and I swear, if you go through enough of these things, you'll see it. Many will say, I knew the answer to every question, or I inherently had the answer to every question. But when you start to deconstruct the way they're wording it, it is clear as day that they are saying that they received this information. Just like she's saying, I had the answer to every question that I ever needed. And then what does it kind of fall into afterwards? Oh, well, you know, you got to go back. It's just like every typical NDE that we've seen. Not typical, but very, very close. I mean, it's teetering on, just a carbon copy throughout all these things.
Kind of things no one could tell. So, but this guy, the saint, answered everything which I needed. And he said, go back. I will be with you. By that time, I came back. So then next day, I stayed only one day in a hospital. Then next day, they did not find any trace of my pill. That was impossible. And I thought, because when I was taking, I was afraid maybe I should stop my dying. But if I stopped, maybe my brain had affected. Maybe I would be vegetable, dead living. So, that I do not want.
Okay, so you got to ask yourself, where is that coming from, right? These are memories or assumptions that she's coming up with. I mean, logically based, right? I mean, Juliena, if you're watching, my heart goes out to you. I mean, no ill will whatsoever. I'm just asking the question, if you're thinking that during an experience like this, then why is it occurring? Because, most people aren't, I didn't mean to do that in your ears there, but most people aren't concerned with their body. They're not concerned with their earthly life, or that, if I'm away for this amount of minutes, that maybe I'll sustain brain damage or this or that. It seems like, if I had to guess, that was kind of a transference of thought, a thought implant, you can say, to you, in hopes that you'll just go along and continue with what you're doing, courtesy of the Matrix marketing department.
So I took everything, but no one found the pill. And when I woke up, I felt so fresh. Then next day I went to school, only 3 days before the final exam. I haven't even opened the textbook. I was number one, almost number one.
What was the saint's name? Do you remember?
That I did not know when that day. But when I went to university, I studied German philosophy in university. There I find out who he was. was a very, yeah, when I died, I just saw, I know the face, I heard the words, I questioned, he answered, and he sent me back, and a miracle happened, and I went to university with a top. I graduated university with a top score. That everything is, even I am very average. And even though I studied every day, I could never achieve. I was average. But because supernatural power intervention, the mother was, she did not know what happened to me because she gave up all hope to go to university. And but now I passed the number one, and she did not know what to be. But now after that, because I could prove this is that because she was here. Now she knew I connected with them. This is the day. Finally, she realized I had encounter with them. That's why so many miraculous things, because when I went to another world, when I came back, all my sickness was cured.
Okay. And, well, that's something that happens, right? I've seen it more than enough times. And then, of course, there are those who don't get healed, all right? There are people who come back from all sorts of crazy diagnoses or horrible car accidents or whatever the case may be, and they have to go through absolute hell in rehab to get themselves better. And then there is another section of the community, of the earth realm, we should say, that come back and they're fully healed. And doctors will say, I don't know what you did. I don't know what happened, but you're fine. Like, this symptom went away or you had this and that went away. I mean, I got to be careful about what I say here, but the point is it pops up, it happens, and it's more than documented that it occurs. So here we are seeing a similar situation where she's better as a result. And her mother is even like, whoa, what is going on? Maybe there is something to what Juliena is saying.
Because when I went to another world, when I came back, all my sickness was cured. That was, she spent so much money, all kind of things did. But when I went over another world, then everything cured. She had no explanation, but she knew I was talking about the aliens, but she really did not understand probably. But that day I said, aliens are coming to see me. So they came, so she saw it when she tried to close the window. And the next day I told her, why did you close the window? I told you to not close. And she said she saw it, and all the light are coming to our room. She was afraid.
No soy. Want nothing to do with soy.
And all the light are coming to our room. She was afraid. So she got witnessed after so many years. So yes, I was part of their plan. That's my mission.
What was the saint's name that you saw?
That was Friedrich Nietzsche.
Who? Friedrich Nietzsche?
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the near-death experience?
I mean, how badass is that? Nietzsche. I mean, really? I mean, that's pretty cool. And Bubbles says, I had a spinal cord injury. Docs told me I had a 1% chance to walk again. 20 days later, got movement and feeling back. I walk with a limp, but I'm walking. Good for you, my friend. I'm so happy to hear that, man. Yeah, that makes me, I love hearing that. And I also want to thank a big thank you to Jimmy, who just joined the Last Timers Club. Thank you so much, brother. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate you so much, and thank you. Jimmy's been a good friend and always helping here in the chats during the live stream and behind the scenes. And I also want to make sure that everyone checks out his music channel. And I'm going to drop a link into the chat right now. So check out Jimmy's music. And please go and subscribe. Hit that bell. He's dropping some tracks here and there along the way. And thank you, Jimmy. I love you, brother.
That's my mission.
What was the saint's name that you saw?
That was Friedrich Nietzsche.
Who? Friedrich Nietzsche?
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the near-death experience you had after your car accident?
Not after, when I was 20 years old, I was performing in a Mikado's theater, which is 5,000 people coming, huge theater. So then I was interested backstage. And I not supposed to get in, but it's written forbidden, and a rope, a huge rope was there. But I passed it. Then I went to, because I had high heel, and I stepped to something, and I fell down. I supposed to fall down on the ground, but on the floor, but instead that I went somewhere so many feet down, probably 20 feet down. And when it took about 1 second to hit the ground, but even though, so probably to stay high, but meantime, I saw all my sins in my life.
Like a life review.
Heavy thing to go to the lighter. So while I was looking at, because I was sitting, and a huge screen came in front of me.
Oh, cue the life review. We'll see, though.
Then all the things started to appear, and I even know what I was thinking that time. All kind of things appeared. And then slowly getting less, because, when I was 20 years old, I did not do so many, except committed suicide. I grew up in a very heavy religious family. My mother was Buddhism, my father was Buddhism, my mother was a Christian, and very conservative and religious family I grew up. So I did not do too many, gross thing, but it appeared one after the other. Then I regretted what I did. Then very soon I thought, when I was a child, I did not do the tithe, and I bought something I like. So those kind of things, everything started, it showed me. And I was started upset. Oh my God, then childish attic, that something like this, practical joke. And I stood up, if this counted as a sin, how can I live? Because I was a tomboy. I did a lot of, practical joke when I was a child. So I stood up and said, that's a joke. In that moment, my body hit to the floor. Then terrible pain I felt. But that moment, my spirit came out. Then so my body lay down. And I saw the white cloth in the bottom of the hole. And the slight light was, white light was emanating it. So top of this, I would lay down. Then if my spirits did not come back, that's a death. But came back. and I felt tremendous pain. And I heard the music above me, that the jazz band playing, because I was playing tango band. Another band was a jazz band, which is 20 pieces, and the bandstand. And I was underneath of the bandstand. And the words I heard, when words is the one, we change the band, and the bandstand come down. Then I was underneath of the jazz band, and they come and they will crush me. So
the band crushes her. So it's kind of lines up with her life, right? I mean, it's kind of like, hey, everything's kind of playing itself out. You know, she got set up with a life script to play the violin and be involved with being an artist in general. And well, here we go.
Come down. Then I was underneath of the jazz band, and they come and they will crush me. So that is the end of my life, right? So I was so frightened, but my leg was broken. So I could not move well, but I was so panicked, I screamed. But, 20 pieces of jazz, and this is a forbidden place. No one comes. So, I saw my death. Then bandstand started to come down. I thought this is it. So I'm dying. This was my destiny, dying in the dark, because the inside was so dark I couldn't see anything. I tried to climb up, but everything flat, 90 degrees. There is no place I can climb up. And then coming down, I thought this is it. But that moment, someone said, this way. Then I saw the tiny light from the ground to up. I thought probably I was so panicked, so I did not see it. Then I could see then I was going up, like climbing a 45 degrees slope. I was standing like this, then climb up, and then someone pulled me up. Then soon as I got up from the hole, from the pit, then bandstand came down.
Okay, so the only reason I'm going to stop it here is because I feel it needs to be said is that there's one person in particular out there who I'm not going to name names, but there is a very big issue I have with this person, and he talks about how you have to, in order to escape Earth, you have to die at a 45-degree angle, which is the most absurd crock of crap you can possibly imagine. I'm sorry. It does not matter. Everything boils down to your intention and that you are comfortable in your own, let's just call it like your etheric self, your essence, your true essence self. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does not matter what degree that you die in or this or that. None of that matters. Everything that matters is your intention in knowing that you are a powerful creator being and capable of calling the shots over everyone else, because that's your intention. Your intention is to liberate yourself through non-interference to your own void-like realm, your own void-like created realm that is incapable of being infiltrated or messed with. Remember, that's key. Create your own void-like realm. The Matrix has its own false void-like realm because it knows that some of us will be familiar with it, either subconsciously or when we get there, whatever the case may be, or not when we get there. We're not going to get there. We're going to go to our own void-like realm. But you get what I'm saying? Like NDEers sometimes appear there. And I think they do that on purpose. I'm firmly convinced of it because I think our true state of being is in a void-like realm, okay? and it's just pure existence. That's what I think when you cut away and sift through all the BS and get down to the core. I think we are basically just experiencers and observers in pure existence form. So what does it do? It recreates that type of realm. To me, it seems very obvious that that's what they're doing. But you also you got to have empathy and compassion for those that go through the matrix void-like realm, because remember, we come from this super sensory experience where go, everything's all around us. We got lights on, we got homes, we got, a car, we got whatever the case may be. You got TV, internet, like we're here today. All this stuff is go. Next. And so then if you go from this to cut off and just in a void-like realm and expecting, continue to expect sensory type experiences similar to Earth, well, what's the Matrix going to do? It's going to deliver it to you on a silver platter. It's going to throw you in there, and it may break your balls a little bit while you're in there too, and kind of get you in a certain mindset. And it could attack you with negative entities. It could be good entities. Almost every time. Like if someone's having a negative or hell-like NDE, the light is always chilling there somewhere. It's somewhere. And what does it do? Like if someone kind of directs themselves to the light, it gives them a soothing feeling. It calms them down. It gives them a loving feeling. It's like this reassurance that they need. And if they concentrated on enough, or they, the ass kicking ceases to exist in the void-like realm that the Matrix has created, then they go towards it. And then everything changes. And then it's like, oh, whoa, this big explosion of a sensory experience starts to begin. Well, why is that? Because it knows how to play the game on us, against us. So really, really important to remember that, I think our true existence is when we strip it all away. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's important to remember this, my friends, that I think our true state of being is true existence within a void-like state. Now, does that mean you have to be there the rest of your existence? No. It's just a safe place that you are creating. Remember, it's your own void-like realm, with your intention being outside of the entire Matrix system, where you'll be left alone completely to do what you need to do to remember who you truly are and put your powers to the test. And know where your strengths lie, where your weaknesses lie. I mean, I know we don't like to really look at, or at least I don't like to look at, like weaknesses as a creator being, but there clearly are some, right? We've all ended up here. Let's be honest with ourselves. We've all ended up here somehow, all right? And clearly we agreed to come into this nightmare, this mess, this dumpster fire, and we're kind of, either we were lured or deceived, or we, or the other thing is like, it's just morbid curiosity. Think about it. Maybe there's a bunch of entities out there in the realm saying, hey, you want a real challenge? Go to Earth. And, it could be like a dare or like anything, right? Where it's like, hey, you really want a challenge? Go check that place out. Yeah, I dare you. Go ahead. Or, flip a coin, heads goes Earth, tails, gets to stay here. It could be something so stupid. I know I'm kind of minimizing it, but the point is these are the types of things that could be possibilities, and there are a number of them. But we obviously have lost our way, all right? And it's time that we reclaim ourselves and not doubt ourselves. Can't say that enough. Don't doubt yourself. If you allow the door to be open to the Matrix and to be manipulated, then it's going to take advantage of that. And that's why you don't even leave that. That's why you start working on yourself now. You start working on your intention now. Or like if you're kind of new to the material or kind of on the fence, give yourself some time. Give it a year, give it 2 years. I mean, I think to truly grasp a lot of all this, like at least like the big picture and how all these experiencer topics and subtopics, which are over 20 now, relate to one another and show the big picture about what's going on. Until that's kind of approached on all aspects, and it might depend on who you are and how far along you are in your research. I mean, it's all situational and personal. So for some, it may only take a few months to see this and feel completely self-empowered and know, I know who I am. I know what I'm going to do, and that's it. And then for others, it may take a year or two, and that's fine. But the point is all I want is for each and every one of you. This is all I want, is for each of you to be self-empowered and to know that you call the shots on your own liberation, on your own sovereignty, on your own non-interference, on your own realm. That's all I want. That is my message. I want you to feel self-empowered because I care about you and want you to get there. I don't want you to have doubts about who you are and what you're capable of, because I'm so afraid of what the Matrix can throw as a possibility. And this kind of goes into one more thing. I'm not going to rant too much longer, but it goes to one other thing. And I know this is a natural thought. I was there. Like a lot of us kind of look at this information, we realize it, we get to like that pinnacle where we're gonna, do what we need to do for ourselves, but we want to kick this system's ass. We want to take it out. And that's where the problem comes in. Because what does the Matrix do best? It personalizes the experience for you. It has shown us that over and over, more times than I can count. It is the most consistent thing you will see on this channel and through your own research, is that the system customizes the experience to you. So what's it going to do? If you think you can fight the Matrix and take it down, it's going to provide that illusion to you. Just like it's going to provide the, when you have a reunion with your deceased loved ones or pets or Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or God or whoever, it's going to provide that experience based on your belief system. That's why you got to stand up for yourself and say, enough is enough. I'm going my own way, doing my own thing, and nothing's going to stop me, period. That's it, my friends. So that's kind of my rant for the evening.
From the hole, from the pit, then one stand came down. I escaped my death in a few seconds. And I was then right away, I lost my consciousness. I was bleeding, so then finally I got out from the forbidden area and I was taken to the hospital, and I had a lot of cut, my hand, my face, my legs. And so I did not go, so I went home because I could not take care by myself. So I went home, and a month later I came back, and the security and the band stage manager took me to the place, and he turned on all the light, and he showed me where I really fell down, and I couldn't believe. I asked, where is the slope? Where is the light? And they said, no, there is no slope. No one could get out from here. So we could not find how
No one couldn't get out of here.
Where is the light? And they said, no, there is no slope. No one could get out from here. So we could not find how, we could not figure out how did you get out. No one can survive because underneath was a heavy metal, the nails sticking out all over the place. No one could survive. And even though survived, no one could get out from there.
So this is like a hellish type experience.
See, obviously, non-human came and something manifested. I know I saw the stair while I'm climbing up. There is no light, but I saw the light. Otherwise, I could not climb up. Someone pulled me out. See, no human came to help me. So this is this place. There is no accident happened. So my story became quite big. So everybody realized something extraordinary thing happened. Because if I saw when my spirit was out, I saw flat because covered, white cloth was covered, but that was not the flat, because obviously all cut. If I fell down flat place, I could never had so much cut. But the cut shows I was in sharp place. And it manifests the cloth, white cloth, light, slope, everything was manifested in order to save my life. I supposed in this short accident, probably in 10 minutes or so, and at that time I was supposed to die twice. When I fell down, I supposed to die, but
Matrix Marketing Department, how may I help you? Yes, we need you to be more believable and to buy into our BS so that we can deceive the entire Earth realm. Thank you.
And at that time, I was supposed to die twice. When I fell down, I supposed to, die, but I survived. And if I survived, when a bandstand comes down, I was crushed. So I escaped.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. All right. I'm running out of time. So can you tell me what is the title of your book and where can we find it?
One Life, Many Worlds, My Journeys Through the Heavens and Hells of Extraterrestrial Worlds, and all the sightings are in here.
It does seem like a good book. I haven't read it. I have added it to my cart and may buy it. But make of it what you will. Like I said, once we kind of get past this part, we are going to dive into her website, and I'm going to show you some of the artwork that she's put up, along with what she's done through her career.
And all the pictures are there too.
Yes. It's a lot of color picture. I have under my encounter and my family and what I did in my musical things and in my lecture. This is the UFO convention, move on. And they contacted me. So the painting and newspaper, all kind of things they start in here.
Where can you get your book?
In Amazon.
Amazon.
Yes.
Okay. What about your paintings? Can you show us a few of your paintings?
Yes. Okay.
This part's hilarious.
Those are angels, because of Christmas time, they wanted me to paint many angels. And so those are small paintings. Can you see?
It's hard. I can't see. The best one I can see is the angel behind you.
So they wanted her to
I can see everything.
Okay.
So maybe you can put them up there.
So this one is another world, golden world. I visited, and those are also the angel and another angel, because of Christmas time they want to have angels, and those are. This one is the universe, near-death experience.
Are all these paintings on your website?
This one is another world. I saw this kind of color. So this fascinated me, so I wanted to become a painter, and those are some another world.
Are these another world paintings of the worlds that you visited?
Yes, though something like this, we can never paint on the canvas because everything was shining, and it's not. This is one dimension, but there is probably I visited maybe more than fourth dimension. It's a very, very different because I did not walk on the ground. I was up in the air, and everything is emanated light and transparent. But at least I'm trying to create the color which I saw it. So that's why in the art business, I'm called colorist because I use color very differently. And that's made me because my painting has all kind of, lot of newspaper wrote about my paintings and all kind of things, but because the color does not exist in this world, I try to manifest as much as I can. So that's my passion because so we all, especially nowadays, this world is so dangerous and we don't know when our life is the end. And we must do as much as we can to graduate human life to the better world.
Right.
So that's my mission. So to do the high vibration work.
Right.
To people get aware there is another world which is much, much higher than Earth exists. And up to us if we could go over there. So that I want to convey my message. Though that is the reason I wrote my book.
All right. Your website again is julieokah.com, and that's
Yes.
JULIEOKAH.com.
Yes.
And also on your website, we can see some of your violin performances as well, correct?
Yes.
So we can see your paintings, we can see your book, we can see you playing the violin, and we can probably read a little bit about your story, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
If somebody wants to ask you questions, how are you okay with that? And if so, how can they ask you questions? From your website, or are you on Facebook, or what?
I'm in the Facebook.
Okay. And that's under Juliena Okah?
Yes, in the name you can find.
Okay. They can ask you questions directly there?
Yes. Yes, I would love to.
Okay. Well, before we finish up, can you give us one last positive message?
Be aware, because many people think we supposed to live on Earth, but it is not. Just only this is part of a small, tiny bit of universe. So we should open our mind. Universe is so huge, and up to us how we live in this world. So that is the most important for me, and should be important for, I think, everybody, because we all die. So it's good to know there is a higher power is want to help us and want to become aware of this thing. So this is changed my life, because the alien encounter opened up my eyes to the universe. And many people lived as non-human, and now we happen to be a human. But how to graduate, how to exceed human realm to high.
How to graduate. See, like it's always the same thing. You've got to learn, you've got to grow in order to ascend or liberate yourself. No. The answer I have found on Earth is that the simplest answer is usually the most truthful. And, I think we see this with the soul trap, that it's clear beyond all recognition. well, not, I wouldn't say that, but it's clear that it's in our face that intention is key. And that is really the biggest truth of all, is that, you know, we get into these cycles over and over and over again. But it's because we're, you know, dare I say it, like addicted to the sensory experience, like we're addicted to the attachments and whatever the case may be. And it continues to go on and on and on and on. So when are we going to stand up for ourselves and say, okay, I'm going my own way, doing my own thing, and nothing's going to stop me, period, the end. If you think, quote unquote, the archons, which I don't like, even, I can't stand the word archons, because what does that mean? It means rulers. Well, no one rules over this guy. No one rules over you. I like to call them parasites, because that's what they are. They're parasites, okay, that want to try and suck you into their illusion. And they're hoping, just hoping, that you'll believe it. And if you continue to believe it, all they need is a little bit. All they need to do is make you feel powerless, as if you have no skin in the game, you can't control yourself, and that they are the hierarchy, and you're going to believe it, and you're going to obey, and that's it. Boy, doesn't that sound familiar? It sounds just like here. So when do we say enough is enough? We start now. We start today. We start whenever we all started, and move along and don't look back. Nothing controls you, my friends. Please don't ever forget that. Our intention is king or queen or whatever you want to call it. It is the center of everything. And once you relinquish that intention or consent to something else, that's when everything falls apart and you become another cog in the wheel of the matrix. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here. So the time to say no is now. Enjoy saying no. Stand up for yourself. You deserve it.
And now we happen to be a human. But how to graduate, how to exceed human realm to higher stage of life.
How to graduate, how to reach a higher stage of life. This is all typical Matrix narratives.
That I want to tell people.
Well, thank you for that message. And Juliena, thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, so that is going to wrap up that segment. And before we move along to the website, I just wanted to put this out there that I had I recently purchased a new computer. Some of you already know about this, that my old computer was giving me hell, and the USB ports were just out of control, and I tried to get it repaired reasonably, and then you start to realize that, okay, I'm just going to keep paying diagnosis fees, and that, you got to replace the motherboard, which I knew already, and all this stuff. So I ended up, getting a computer during Black Friday. Of course, I waited and for the most opportune moment, but still, even with that, it's a lot, and quite frankly isn't something that I can necessarily swing. But if you're interested in supporting the channel and helping towards the cost of the computer, with what I have now, I'll show you a little video feed of what I have. It's a MSI computer. There it is right there. Okay. And just picked that up. Was it yesterday or the day before? I haven't set it up yet, but if you're interested in helping support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. There are a few different ways to donate, and that's through Stripe and Stream Elements. And if you're looking to donate anonymously on Odyssey, you can do that as well through credit card or LBC. But Stripe and Stream Elements take the smallest percentage out of everything, and YouTube takes 30%, Twitch takes 50%. I greatly appreciate it, but I also understand, we're living in hard times. It's not easy to be able to do that, and maybe it's only if you're interested and able. Please, I don't want to take food off anyone's table or cause any issues with your family, stuff like that. But if you can help support the channel, I greatly appreciate it to kind of defray the cost. I'm trying to upgrade the system a bit. I have to add more RAM to it. It's a good base machine, but to do kind of what I want to do and be able to stream okay, what I'll say is this: like, I bought a service earlier, I don't know, about 3-4 months back, through, it's called Melon app, and they offer multi-streaming, which is great, but it is a real pain in the butt to get it all set up. And I did set it up, but the problem is each platform has different criteria for like the amount of characters you can use in the title and the description, and then they don't always carry over properly. I mean, it's just, so for me to be able to multi-stream, it would be much better to just do it straight from Odyssey, which is what I'm doing tonight. I mean, it's not ideal, but if I have more RAM, I can do that. And also, because I got a new computer, I have to purchase new editing software for videos. I mean, I know most of my channel is live, but I do occasional video editing, so that would help too. So only if you're willing and able, I'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I got this badass MSI computer. I got to work on getting it all set up over the next week or so. And hopefully next weekend or the weekend after, I will have that all set and be able to live stream with more speed and not have all these USB issues. That's a whole nother thing. I just bought a new webcam. That cost me $150. So I mean, it just kind of adds up. The mic issue, which is okay right now, but it's very temperamental, and I don't know if it has to do with the computer. Like, if I plug in the mic in the new computer, maybe it'll run okay, maybe it won't. But I mean, the mic in the end isn't as bad. But the point is the computer with upgrades and software and stuff like that is going to be about $2,000. And then the webcam was just about like $150, I think, is $149 plus tax what I spent. So any help is greatly appreciated. And this is the first time I've ever asked something like this. And so yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. Anything helps, but I do not under any circumstances want people who can't afford it or are in a position with a family or whatever to donate. I just don't. I want you to take care of yourself. That's always number one. Okay, so what else? Where are we at? Oh yeah, we're going to the website. We're going to the website. So let me get this set up. Okay, hopefully this comes through. All right. Several of my paintings. This is Juliena's website. So as you can see, like, she's got watercolors here. This one's kind of interesting, but this isn't really, at least, I mean, she doesn't label them, so it's tough to say. But the interesting ones are a little bit further down. But I'll leave them up for a little while so you can see them. These are her oil and acrylic color paintings. Okay, let me check out the Taj here. I'm gonna just throw on some music while I'm doing this. A little light music in the background. And if you're watching the replay or the live stream, I'm just gonna kind of go through some of these fairly quickly until we get down to the other ones. Oh, that looks kind of godly. Probably her as a young girl, if I had to guess. It's amazing how the Matrix marketing department sets this up, right? You have a life script and you fall in line with it. And some people, I think, do just that. Like they fall in line right away and don't ask the big questions. And they're just susceptible to things like Juliena experienced. And as a result, they share it with the world. But that's exactly the way this whole system is set up, right? Got the pyramid, and above pyramid is something of a godly figure. Remember, the light is often referred to as God. That could be in the form of a white light, blue light, golden light, orange light, and on and on. And just as a reminder, this channel is for educational purposes only. And here's the UFO art. I love how Saturn is prominent and right up in our face. Or Earth, I'm sorry. And Saturn up here. That's Earth. Sorry. And here is the UFO sighting. This is one she mentioned to us earlier in the stream. Multiple UFOs. Or at least that's what they call them. With a pyramid structure underneath. And the looks of a city inside the pyramid. This is the one she showed on stream, I believe. Unfortunately, it's lower resolution, so we don't have a bigger size for you. I'm sorry. Okay. And they have the UFO on the top left. You have flowers, the running stream, which can be possibly, again, possibly interpreted as the river of forgetfulness. You have the UFO here. You have roses. Another UFO with roses surrounding it. And this is some of her news clippings. So as you can see, she, this is not, she plays the violin. She's an artist or a painter, and she's getting out there. This is the Los Angeles Register magazine. And here's some grill. Interesting what you see with Lily, right? Being shut up. And Marlea, which kind of reminds me of Maya, which is the definition for illusion. And Natural Awakening. Some of you may be familiar with this magazine. I know I am. I get it every month, every other month. Peace in the Universe, artwork by Juliena Okah. Display of Life, an artist's reception for the exhibition. Life was held in Malibu Gallery, located on Constantino's site on Saturday night. Work from abstract painter Tom Savage, sculptor and photographer Jill McDonald, magic marker surrealist Richie Niles Pollock, oil painter Juliena Okah, and Robert Standish were on display. Robert Standish, that name sounds very familiar. Is Malibu curator Nina Herzog said, quote, "As I selected pieces for this Malibu exhibit, I was drawn to artists who have a story about how their art has come into being and enhance their own life. The exhibition will be on display through March 2nd. And she's obviously in the picture. Sorry for my horrendous reading. I should have zoomed in a little bit. Yesterday. Okay. And here she is with some of her other pictures and possibly others. Oh. And you can see kind of like the angel on the bottom. Obviously, we didn't see that tonight, but this is what the website shows. And I'm going to make sure to leave a link here for y'all if you'd like to check out her website as we go over some of it. I mean, you combine everything that we heard tonight with the pictures, with the music, with the website, with the book, even though, again, I didn't read the book, but clearly, her heart is in it. And why is her heart in it? Because the Matrix has set it up in a certain way so that her life script plays out the way it wants it to, so it can influence others. You never know. Like, you may run across someone like Julie or Juliena and easily easily fall right into the Matrix's grip. Okay, we saw some of these earlier. All right, so that brought us back to the beginning of her work. What I wanted to show you is, I think, the about section. And again, I'm not going to go over all of this, but you know, she's a violinist, and as she told us in the Expereincer case, she said she was a headliner on cruise ships, or she was working her way up there at least, and then became a headliner. And she also headlined theaters and television and radio shows, orchestra, which is, you know, that's a big accomplishment to headline in theaters and on cruise ships, and then kind of continue to build upon the career by television and radio shows, as well as these mega orchestras that are in Vegas, New York, Los Angeles, as we see Vienna and Tokyo. I mean, so it's no mistake that she's up there. We saw a clear-cut case tonight of a life script, and it speaks volumes. And I love this part. This is one of my favorite parts. Gypsy strolling violinist. So, you know, she did her thing, right? She made her rounds. I mean, look at this. This is someone who the Matrix is set up for life, and it knows it. And then she also has expeditions and various other, I don't know, well-known schools and museums and colleges and galleries and whatever. And I haven't seen her MUFON presentation, but I do know it's out there. And there's also an IANS credit and various other organizations since 2015 regarding NDEs. So that may be something some of you are interested in checking out to further your own research. And then, of course, lastly, we have her education and training. So I hope you have enjoyed tonight's stream. And, you know, just want to say before we sign off for the evening that again, tomorrow, for any Last Timers Club members, levels 2 and higher, tomorrow will be our monthly member live stream together. That'll be Sunday, the 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And looking forward to seeing some of you there. And also we'll be streaming exclusively on Odyssey at least once a month, and that may kind of grow, and those streams won't be available on YouTube. So if you'd like to check out the channel on Odyssey, feel free. There is a link in the description tab. And I also have a Twitter and Instagram, all the stuff I kind of mentioned earlier, where some people don't get notifications about the channel and when the streams are. I tried to put out a notification at least an hour ahead of time on both Twitter and Instagram, and I did just start on Facebook, which I opened an account there recently, reluctantly, but it's there. And I have a D Live, a Twitch, where I do truth in gaming videos. There are a lot of truth bombs in gaming, just like there are in movies and TV and music and books and all that stuff. So if you're interested in seeing that kind of thing, I'm not some pro gamer who's going to impress you, but I'm always in it for the story, and I just want to enjoy myself. And if there are some truth bombs along the way, great. And those are the games I try to play. So if you're interested in checking Twitch out, feel free. And where else were we? I think that should be about it. Oh yeah. There's like there's a Matrix Reincarnation playlist. That's what I was trying to say. So if you're new or otherwise on the fence, or kind of wanting to see what kind of information is out there on the channel, there is a master playlist titled the Matrix Reincarnation playlist. You can find that on the home screen of the channel, and it lists every single video on the topic. And it's loaded. It's got all sorts of different things: NDEs, OBEs, abduction stuff like we talked tonight. It's got the members videos. It's got the shorts. It's or the quick clips, I should say. I don't do shorts, but there's the quick clips for those that might not be able to stick around for many of the videos, and all of the dedicated topics to help prove the soul trap to yourself. So I think I will leave it at there. I'm getting a little tired, but I am going to stop in the Discord afterwards. So if you're a member of the Last Timers Club and want to stop in the voice chat for a few minutes, feel free to drop by afterwards. And I'm going to head there right now. So I will see you soon. And thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Lastly, one last thing I just want to say, check out Jimmy's YouTube channel. He's a good friend of the channel, does a lot of work on stream and then off stream behind the scenes. So check out Jimmy's music here at this website. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. And that's I also want to say one last thing. There are 2 YouTube backup channels here, and they're there. They've been sitting for quite a while. I haven't used them yet, but they're there just in case something should ever happen to this channel. Okay, so if you'd like to kind of have a backup along with all those other sites I mentioned, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell for both of the backup channels. And then if you're watching this channel, obviously too, I do get notifications regularly. How people say, oh, I never got a notification for the stream, this and that. The only solution I have is to hit the bell and select all, or sign up for the other social media sites off of YouTube. But there's not much else I can do besides that. And the final thing I wanted to close with is that I have an email list. If you're interested in joining the email list, it's just a way for us to stay in touch and an alternative way to kind of say, hey, this is what's going on. You know, maybe something happened here, maybe something happened there, and you can, you know, and there'll be updates there. I've had the email list for about 3 months now. I haven't sent out any emails, and I will never, ever, ever sell your information. It's safe. And so yeah, if you'd like to join the email list, feel free to check that out in the description tab. And that is a bit it. Okay, my friends, I will see some of you in the Discord server after, and we'll have a little voice chat. And I will see some of you tomorrow for the members stream. And if not, may see some of you next week. Thank you so much. Don't work too hard. Remember, you know, work the minimum, get paid the maximum that you can, and look forward to your days off. And remember, you are a sovereign being. Don't let anyone tell you different. Don't let anyone get you down. Don't let anyone chirp in your ear thinking that you don't hold the power, because you do. And this channel has proven that you hold all the cards. It's just a matter of, are you going to stand in that power, or are you going to allow the Matrix to creep in and take over? And I think that's the big question, right? You deserve better. So, sorry I wasn't able to get to any questions tonight, but I have saved some of them, and we'll see each other again soon. Thank you. Much love, and we'll see each other again next week. Thank you.